So I want to take a deep dive into the Colin Trevorrow final draft of what was supposed to be Star Wars Episode 9 Duel of the Fates. I want to take a real deep dive into it. This video might be a bit long. I'm actually reading this for the very first time all the way through, start to finish. This is from makingstarwars.net, but it's been posted on Bespin Bulletin on Instagram. But makingstarwars.net did get this information. We're going to go through the plot of the film, what would have been had Colin Trevorrow kept on working on Star Wars for Episode 9, had JJ not come back, had Carrie Fisher not passed away. This is what was supposed to be Episode 9, and it was finished in 2016, apparently, so it was before Last Jedi came out, but the events of Last Jedi still correlate with this movie. So let's go ahead and take a deep dive into it. Like I said, you see it on your screen right there. You don't have to read it with me. I'll read it, and then we can kind of go through. I'm not going to read every sentence. We're going to go through kind of the plot details of Colin Trevorrow's script. Again, I don't know how long it's going to be because we're going to go through the whole thing right now. So it says here, Crawl, the First Order is everywhere. Ren is on a quest to dig up ancient dark side stuff. Of course, it doesn't actually say stuff in the real Crawl. This is just a summary because they wouldn't put the word stuff in a Crawl. They're going to put like ancient dark side artifacts or whatever. And the Knights of Ren search for Rey. The Resistance plan on a secret mission to light the fire of revolution. That's what it says. So basically, it's what they were supposed to do in Episode 8, but basically, from what it says here, is Kylo Ren's looking for dark side artifacts, which is actually what the big rumor was he was supposed to do in Episode 7, was trying to find old dark side artifacts. The Acolytes of the Beyond were supposed to do that, so they're bringing that plot back. So this movie, in some ways, this version of Episode 9 wraps up a lot of what we had heard during the Episode 7 era a lot well, too. So it says here, basic plot, the transmission has been jammed and the Resistance can't communicate. Once the friends steal the cache of weapons from the First Order, they prepare to attack the capital of the First Order once Rey goes to the Jedi Spire of Ossus and sends a message out to get the galaxy to join them in the fight. So it's basically what they try to do in Episode 8. They're going to try and do it again here. Kylo is trying to kill Rey so he can finally be full on the dark side. Opens on a First Order base space station in Kuwait Orbital. BB-8 is undercover on a mission with Rose. They are working at disabling a security checkpoint for their friends to arrive. So Rose has already got more to do in this movie. I don't know how I feel about that because I feel like the Rose character, if written properly, could have been a better character. In Episode 8, she was not written properly, in my opinion, but I think she could have been a good character if they had actually done more with her and done interesting things with her. So it says, there is an orbital ring that looms in the sky that destroyers dock into like spikes on a punk bracelet. That's kind of cool right there, actually. That's a cool visual. Kind of reminds us of some Rogue One stuff. On the Kuwait moon, or maybe it's Kuwait, Finn is disguised as an alien worker who was under the reign of the First Order stormtroopers, but when he's getting found out, a rogue Poe comes to assist him as they wait for BB-8 to disable the weapons checkpoint. At a close call, they get through. So this is kind of like the beginning, opening action set piece for this film here. It says here, Rose has been waiting for them 6 weeks when Finn and Poe arrive. She tells them her plan on how to plant detonation, a chain reaction that will destroy the orbital ring, which will include the fleet of new fleet of destroyers. Sorry about some of the writing here, guys. It seems a little like it wasn't well edited, but I'm doing the best I can. This is all from Bespin Bulletin. Rose wants them to take out the enemy fuel source, be light years away. This is written so bad. Before they know they've been hit. Their plan uses BB-8 and the obstacles, but the bomb doesn't go off. They're trapped, about to be killed by the troopers when Rey shows up with a double-bladed lightsaber and saves them. They didn't know she was following them. Okay, that's a cool scene right there. I like it. Let's keep going. Rey sees the migrant upbringing and wants to help with her force powers. But Poe, Finn, and Rose want her to go with them to follow the plan. She ignores them and goes to help the migrants, but the TIE fighter blasts the area. Rey has to. I'm sorry about that. I'm doing the best I can. Rey has to give up what she wants to do, save the migrants, and escape with her friends for the future good of the galaxy. So it's kind of showing that Rey wants to be a hero here and rescue people like her, scavengers, and people who are, who aren't really well off in the galaxy. There's an idea that the migrants and kids see that Rey's a Jedi and they're reverent of her and the Fallen Order. The friends decide to escape on a Star Destroyer. Poe can fly anything. To get there, they have to ride a turbo lift, which is made for droids. The G-force almost crushes their bodies. On the fueling dock, they take a glide rover to the Eclipse Destroyer. Admiral Vaughn realizes they're getting on an empty Star Destroyer. I guess it's a new character, Admiral Vaughn. Rey uses the Force to get the crewmen on the destroyer to take them to the Neruin system. They barely get out of the docking station as Poe struggling to fly the dreadnought. BB-8 has to get them on his maintenance shuttle. So this kind of reminds me of like the opening scene from Revenge of the Sith where Anakin has to crash that big ship. Not crash it, but make sure, land it. Another happy landing. It kind of reminds me of that where they're trying to scramble out with a giant ship, Rey wants to get them to Lightspeed, but it's risky, yet they pull it off. Knife 9 is a ship belonging to the Knights of Ren. We are introduced to the Knights with names and everything. Admiral Vaughn gives them an update that they are placed on a location cipher in BB-8 so they can track Rey. He is then he's killed by them. So Admiral Vaughn is dead, but they've apparently put a tracking device on BB-8. Again, we've seen this before. On Remicor, we see an 11-year-old Dade street-worn and alone amidst the First Order that patrols this First Order capital. So Remicor is the First Order capital, apparently. Chancellor Hux looks down on the city. He tells Lord Gerlid, a disgusted alien, that the resistance is almost vanquished, but the alien believes the youth are on the verge of revolt. So right now what's going on is the First Order is pretty much officially the new empire, and the resistance has become the rebellion. It's the same thing now, because they're in control. The alien talks about how they want the last hope of the Jedi, Rey, to be killed. A Darth Maul-like character, Soiloni Ren. Interesting. Soloni Ren. With Kylo gone, Hux and the others have to listen to Soloni Ren. So I guess this is another new person that Kylo trained or something like that. Maybe Soloni Ren's probably a Knight of Ren. I don't know. Doesn't really specify. Did I skip a page here? Nope. We're on number 14. Excuse me, number 14 right now. Kylo, it says Kyle. Kylo travels to Moraband to a Sith temple with ancient statues. Supreme Leader Snoke has him follow a message to find the hologram of Darth Plagueis. So this is interesting. Now we do have Plagueis in the final draft. Luke shows up as a ghost to tell Kylo that this is the path to an empty hollow tomb, but he doesn't listen. Opening the holocron, red force lightning attacks Kylo. Why is it Kyle? And the damage spreads across his face. Rey has a dream that connects her to Kylo. Finn talks to her about it. She's worried she's not strong enough. But the children, everyone believes in her. Poe is going to park the destroyer on a moon. Rose is dubious. Poe finds weaponry on the ship, though enough TIE fighters and walkers take over the capital. So they've already got a bunch of new ships inside that Star Destroyer. They call back to the base, but Leia tells they're under attack and they lose contact. All of the bases are seemingly being attacked and they can't get in contact with anyone. Rey tells them that they have to go back to the base. They have no choice. So they're still on the Star Destroyer. Kylo is on the verge of death when a group of Wommels save him and take him to their cave. He's moved by their selflessness. Poe, Finn, Rey, and Rose's stolen TIE shuttle arrives from Lightspeed to a battle on Korolev, where they find the last of the Resistance and C-3PO. The friends put Leia on the Falcon and they blow up the base as they leave, but not before a TIE fighter crashes into a tower and destruction hit. Chewie barely gets Leia on board. So this is now they're trying to save Leia. Okay. That's the story going on here. Leia dies after she gives Rey a message. She fades away with the Force. I don't like the idea of Leia dying this soon into the movie, unless they have plans later on. I'm going to wait and see. Again, I'm reading this for the very first time with you guys. But I guess they kill her off pretty early in the film. I think this is somewhere around the end of the first act, and that's kind of an unfortunate thing they're going to do. But all right, so much for her having a big role. Let's see what happens, though. In the cave, Kylo can feel that his mother passed. The Wommels are so kind they calm his rage. Meanwhile, on the Falcon, they are hit with blasts as they try to get out of there. It's a Knife 9 ship with the Knights of Ren. Poe pushes the Falcon hard and they go into warp speed. They leave a trail of fire behind them. The Falcon crash lands in a frozen ocean. The group deals with rising waters. They sink in the ship and try to survive. Sounds like what they would try to do a little bit of with the Death Star, with the big waters coming up. I can see that kind of being a thing here visually. The Falcon... okay, I already read that. Rey goes back to save the Jedi text in the drowning of the Falcon. She uses her blue lightsaber to break through a wall with Finn as they survive. At Remicor, Kylo is in much worse shape, relying on droids to keep him alive, purple scars and burns. Soloni sees that Kylo found it, their MacGuffin, the Sith holocron. So I guess that's where they got the idea from for the Wayfinders. It's the same kind of idea here. Soloni, female, tells Kylo that he and Rey are both pupils of Luke. He needs to sever the connection to clear his fate to the dark side. So In this version of the story, it's not that they're a dyad, it's that they were both students of Luke, and that's why they, they are connected, which I actually like that idea. I like that Luke, by saving the galaxy and redeeming his father, and then, starting a new Jedi Order, has created these two students who are now at war with each other. One of them is his actual nephew, the other one's nobody, basically, in this version of the story. Kylo gets a new, more savage mask closer to Vader. The one he had in Rise of Skywalker is pretty cool with the red glue and stuff like that. That was pretty cool. But notice that he is becoming more and more like Vader, with his body being all mangled, and, it seems to be that connection going. Meanwhile, on the frozen planet of Wavet, the friends try to survive, and Chewie finds a broken off piece of radar dish on the Falcon. They can get transmission for help. Poe and Finn talk about their complicated admiration for Rey, which cites their funny relationship as brothers, not romantically. Angry, Rey beats up a piece of crashed spaceship when Force Ghost Luke talks to her. Luke feels that he's losing her. She believes that she's no one, so the Last Jedi is dead. Rey believes Kylo is drawn to the light, while Luke believes he can't be redeemed. So that's continuing from Episode 8. That makes sense. But I don't like the idea of Rey being this frustrated. That's a little bit weird, out of character for her. But then again, she is a Mary Sue in the first two movies, so I guess writing her like this is a way to humanize her, so we can relate to her more. Because she's not getting it. She's not getting what she should know. She's still a rookie. Rey reveals that Leia asked her to end Kylo's pain. Luke gives her a lightsaber before he disappears. He says she won't be a Jedi until she faces Kylo. So where did Luke get the lightsaber from? All right. Does the ghost just carry one around and it just becomes real? I need more information on that one. BB-8 has found a map in the destroyer, proving the First Order knows where a lot of the Resistance bases are. They're taking them out one by one. The Resistance needs to warn them, but the transmissions are jammed. So it says here in bold, Rey has a new goal at the midpoint. From the Jedi text, she learned of an old ancient form of communication before the Old Republic, the Spire of Isis, a sacred chamber to prevent any Sith from using it. Only a Jedi may enter. Rey needs help, but she could maybe find the location of the Spire. Poe knows an astromancer who helps Jedi. She works with the Space Digger. Poe wants to fight and head to the capital to cut off the head of the beast with their arsenal. They will not split up, or they will split up. Rey, Poe, and Chewie will find the Spire, and Finn and Rose will go to Remicor. Rey and Kylo have a Force connection talk. His face is healed. He feels his light, his calling for his mother when she died, and feels her darkness. Poe and friends buy a new ship, the Phantom Hawk, from a bearded old man named Phobos, who gives it to them for free because he recognizes Rey. Rey and Finn hug goodbye. So how does this guy know who Rey is? Are they going to reveal something here? We'll see. Number 37 here. Kylo meets with Hux and is angry that Rey is still alive. He almost kills Hux. He wants Hux to tell the Knights the moment Rey is found, his life depends on it. So Hux has got to be a stooge for Kylo, even more than before. Rey uses her Force powers to help them get out of the docking array. Poe tells Rey to dial down her Jedi look, and she does. They get to Bonadan, where Poe used to live with his grandfather. So again, they're doing something like what they did in Rise of Skywalker, where Poe has some backstory added here. Makes sense, I guess. We don't know anything about Poe if you watch just the movies. The Phantom Hawk arrives into the capital, and Finn wears a disguise. R2 has a code that will get them through to find the underground resistance army. They come across Dade, the kid from earlier. When they get there, it's empty and troopers attack them. They rush back to the ship as they fight. Rey gets caught up in the drinking contest with aliens. That sounds like a wacky scene. Could be funny. Finn fights with a trooper whose helmet comes off, and Finn questions him to remember his past before he was taken by the First Order. Finn tells him to get a name and find something worth fighting for. All right. Not necessary. I actually like what they did with Janna in Episode 9 more. With him finding out there's other kind of, rebellious stormtroopers or whatever. I like that a little bit more than him kind of and shoehorning this scene to show that Finn's evolved. We already know that. Poe and Rey get to a den and meet Nomi, a tiny alien who listens to Rey's wish to find a planet. Nomi says the Jedi will know the destination, and there the two will meet, the dark and light. In the vision that Rey's having, she will sacrifice herself to Kylo to save the galaxy. In the war room, Hux tells Saloni that Finn was seen at the capital. Kylo approaches and wants to know where Rey is, but Finn won't tell him. Finn jumps in the darkness to escape. Number 44. And by the way, I'm saying numbers, they're actually numbered here, the bullet points. Moving on. Rey can sense that Finn and the others need help. Poe and Rey escape on a Lando cart through the city area. Then they sail away on a boat, meet by the Knife 9 ship. A kid has a Rey doll, and Rey does a force push. A Rey doll? She's famous already? Like, the movie does not even specify how long this is after Last Jedi. Like, I know they had the whole thing with Broom Kid, but why does she have a doll already? Nobody knows who she is. That's weird. Rey finds the Knights of Ren with the Force, and Poe is hit in the arm. Rey shoots purple lightning from her fingertips, killing one of the Knights of Ren. So obviously they copied that and put it in Rise of Skywalker. Poe and Chewie are taken aback by this. Purple lightning, interesting. Rey, well, I guess it's always been kind of purple or blue. Rey makes Poe leave with Chewie to go help the Resistance. She kisses him to make him do this. Rey kissing Poe is weird, man. That's weird. Rey needs to stay to face Kylo and end this. She now goes full Jedi with the robe. She talks to the Force Luke about her past, who she really is. Luke says she already knows that she's seething with anger. He explains to the Knights of Ren are former students of his and that Kylo wanted to be Rey's teacher. Rey is mad because Kylo lied to her. Okay, but which part did he lie about? It doesn't really specify. Luke says she already knows as she sees with anger. We'll find out soon, I guess. Kylo knows he has to go to the Spire to meet with Rey and finish her. He can't let her reach the Spire. Finn is stuck in a sludge fighting a monster in the sewer when Dade comes to help him. The Underground Resistance army is pretty ragged. Chewie knows they need help, so he leads Poe to the Cabaret Club to meet with Lando. Well, that could be a good scene. He gets them to a private lounge after telling Poe he fell with his mother. When Lando turns down the offer to help, Poe tells him that his mother was right about him. Yeah, I mean, I do kind of like that, but again, you're cutting off the balls of the old trilogy characters. But Lando was always kind of a wishy-washy kind of guy, even though I love Lando. Rose is being tortured by Hux in order to get signature codes for the Dreadnought. I'm sure that'll be a fan favorite scene. She won't tell them, and Hux is ordered to kill her. Rey flies in the Knife 9 and has a subliminal flashbacks when she crashes the ship out of deep space, landing on Ossus. She's made it to the Spire. Kylo also has a rough landing in the same place. Finn talks with Dade, who reveals there's 100 million rustics hiding out but could fight, and that's what the First Order is afraid of. Finn inspires the room to rise up and resist. His arc is complete from when he was a stormtrooper, then traitor. So I guess that's his arc being complete, that he tells other people to rise up against he becomes a full-blown rebel, essentially. Like, now we're really a rebel. Finn was able, even though his arc did kind of end in Episode 8 when he beat Phasma, Finn was able to help Poe get in contact with Connix and others from the Dreadnought. Poe tells them that they will fly with 100 pilots and Finn will have a ground game. Connix, by the way, is the girl who's played by Billy Lord, which is Carrie Fisher's daughter. Rey will get reinforcements once she gets to the signal out from the Jedi Spire. In the Ossus Woods, Rey makes her way to the Spire when she gets a flashback of her parents leaving her and telling her they'll come back. This makes her angry. She slices the tree in half. So that kind of stuff did happen. That similar kind of stuff did happen in the movie. So there is some influence here into Rise of Skywalker. More than just what I had originally thought. Kylo walks to the Spire as well and sees a house and goes inside to find Han Solo. So they are going to have a Han Solo scene here as well, who talks to him about how he has everything he needs with his family, telling him he can always go back and his mother loves him. Flashback of Han killed by Kylo. At Remicor, Finn leads a ragtag resistance attack with the Underground Army led by Dade. C-3PO and R2-D2 help as well. At least they're doing something in this movie. Even though they didn't do anything 7 and 8, but in 9 they definitely did. The trooper Finn talked to earlier has joined them and has a name now, Rafe. So I guess that's the new Jaina, I guess, except he was converted by Finn. By the Spire, Kylo and Rey have a face-off. Rey knows he's in pain and alone. He knows she's mad about her life on Jakku and blames Kylo for killing him, but he says it was Snoke. He knows he's mad. He knows she's mad about her life on Jakku and blames Kylo for killing him. But he says it was Snoke. I guess she means... See, this is written... The writing here is trash, yo. Like, I don't understand that line. Okay, by the Spire, Kylo and Rey have a face-off. Rey knows he's in pain and alone. Talking about Kylo, right? He knows she's mad about her life on Jakku and blames Kylo for killing him. Maybe he means Kylo killing her parents. Okay. But he says it was Snoke. Rey pulls out her double saber. Kylo says that Rey was protected. So Kylo wanted to protect Rey? All right. Poe gives the next in line command to Dade, and Poe goes to fight, in which Poe is instantly outnumbered. They need more pilots. Hux wants to send out undiscipled mercs to help the peace. Saloni sees the holocron and gets the dark power, and it doesn't hurt her like it did Kylo. Interesting. So Saloni gets the dark power. So we do have a new villain here. Finn inspired the rustics and they charge the First Order. Kylo believes that if he kills Rey, there will be no Jedi left. He will control the Force. As they fight, Rey cuts his face and it's metallic underneath. What? So he's got like a metallic face under his regular mask? Is he a robot? Like, that's weird. The Capitol gets hit hard with resistance fire. The fact that they have stolen Dreadnought is key to their success. Chewie in his X-Wing with BB-8 crash land, but he did a good job. So Chewie gets an X-Wing. That's kind of cool. Oh, wait, I didn't mean to do that. Let me go back. I went back to the main page here, and that's not what I meant to do. Okay, can you... Hold on a minute. This thing... I'm zoomed in too much here because I'm trying to show y'all like a clear image. Let me get back to the page I was on here. I believe I was on... This is like... I'm not even going to edit this. Okay, this is where we left. Okay, right here, next page. We are on 56. Finn was able to help Poe get in contact with Connix and others from the Dreadnought. Poe tells him that they will fly with 100 pilots and Finn will have a ground game. Rey will get reinforcements when she gets at the signal out from the Jedi Spire. Okay, wait, no, I already read that. Oh, huh. Okay, let's go to the next one then. Okay, we did all this already. Okay, I guess I hit back on accident, my bad. Okay, here we are. Rose escapes and reveals to Finn that the Capitol is a ship. BB-8 needs to get to Files to stop the ship from going into hyperspace. Ren slashes Rey after he could have been her teacher. He said he could have been her teacher. He knocks her down and leaves her for dead. This is so poorly written, dude. Like, this guy didn't even like proofread it before he posted it. Like, it's just, there's mistake after mistake and grammar errors and typos like all over this, yo. And I'm not like a punctuation police here, but it's hard to read. It makes me sound dumb, but I'm reading it as it's written. Ren destroys Jedi Temple when Ghost Luke shows up to reason with him. Rey starts to feel something as Luke does a voiceover about how everyone is connected by the Force. So Rose, Poe feel something, and Finn can sense Rey, a surge of hope. Okay, that's cool. That's the Force awakening. I like that. Rey comes back to fight Ren, and he calls her no one. She disagrees. No one is no one. They keep fighting. So the story here is that even though Rey is a nobody as far as being lineage to like a Skywalker or a Palpatine, unlike what they did in Episode 9, this version of the story, Rey is still a nobody, but the whole idea is that the Force can make you into a somebody. You know, the Force will make a nobody into a somebody, which is actually how it was for the old Jedi. You know, you don't have to be a special bloodline to be a member of the Jedi. You know, Yoda and Obi-Wan and Mace all had different families. So, presumably. So, that seems to be something that has always been the case. I don't know why people harp on that Rey is nobody thing so much. It's always been like that. It's just that they chose to change it for this movie. Or for these movies. In the ground fight, C-3PO doesn't want to leave R2-D2 in battle. Well, that's nice. Connix is going to retreat as they're taking heavy fire, but they're saved by Lando and 1,000 ships. He came back. So that's reminiscent of what they did in Rise of Skywalker. Rey has a chance to kill Kylo, but she doesn't. She tries to get Ben to come back. She forgives him. He has to make a choice, a different kind of balance. Saloni shows up and grabs Kylo. She's too powerful for Rey to fight off because she's gotten the upgrade, I guess, from the dark power or whatever that is. Rey is beaten down, but when the stone debris is about to crush her, Kylo comes in to save her. Rey takes half of her double saber and gives to Kylo. Okay, that's cool. I actually like this kind of the redemption, like this version of it, a little bit more. Like, I like that he saved her and she gives him half the double blade. Okay, I like that. That's pretty good. Pretty well done there. Let's see. Connix tells Poe to do something reckless. Poe gives Finn a resistance flag and they are reunited and Finn waves it, a big character beat. The Oiler crashes on the front steps of the barricade. Saloni's about to kill Rey, but Ren takes the hit and dies. So he sacrificed himself for Rey. Okay. Then Rey kills Saloni in an age of necessary darkness, or in a rage. Saloni falls dead. As he's dying, Ren says that Rey's name is Solana. Rey Solana. Ren dies. So Kylo Ren knows what her parents' last name is. So her name is Rey Solana, even though, again, they're nobodies. Almost dead, Rey knows she has to climb the Jedi Spire. Crawling her way up, she enters the Force base transmission tower. A lot of stuff moving around Rey with Kyber crystals. All right, well, We have lore. Let's see. Okay. Is that the end? I don't know why it does that. She sends her message out to the galaxy with Rey as a projection, saying her full name, Rey Solana. Okay, why did it go back? You notice how it went back? Okay, we're just start right here. I mean, it's not that easy to see, but this zooming in thing is Instagram's weird. Telling everyone that hope is not lost. Bosk is at a den when she sees a projection and wants to join. Hux learn that they don't have the ships to attack the capital because they're tied up elsewhere since Rey sent out the message. They are outnumbered 3-1. Rose is able to escape the capital before she crashes into the sun. She crashes into the sun? That's wacky. So she dies? Finn can tell Rey's alive. Luke tells Rey that she's a Jedi, but not the last. He will never leave her. Life returns to her. Rey glows and wondered if she's dead, but Yoda tells her there is no death with Jedi, so Rey is not finished. So, that's weird. There is death with Jedi. That contradicts what Yoda said in Revenge of the Sith when he's like, you shouldn't mourn those who become one with the Force. Like, that's a dumb line, dude. I'm sorry. That's stupid. That there is death. You become one with the Force. So it's not like you're dead, like wiped away from existence, but you are dead. You lose your physical body. There's no death. Come on. So at a ceremony, Chewie gets special medal. Of course, that happened. The friends wonder if Rey's really gone. Lando has a moment with 3PO about R2-D2 coming back to life, and he does. Lando is touched to see a flood of memories that they had. Finn reads the story to the young kids. They ask if they really think Rey is gone. Finn believes she is alive because of the Force. Poe and Chewie are flying and they find a beacon on a planet. Why? What does this beacon even mean? Rey is on the... Okay, it's for her. Rey is on the Wabit planet pulling the Falcon out of the icy water. Last shot is Rey returns to the Jedi school to teach young kids. And that's it. There are some things I like about the movie, some things I don't like. In the first draft, obviously, Kylo Ren did not get redeemed. In this version, he did get redeemed a little bit differently. I feel like the way it was in Episode 9, though, the actual Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker, with Leia dying and Han showing up, was way more emotional. This one was kind of felt very shoehorned. This Soloni or whatever, the other Ren. Again, it's better than Palpatine, I think, as far as it kind of being a consistent story, but it's more of the same. They couldn't figure out what they want to do with Kylo Ren, so they had to make another villain for him to get redeemed against. I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's things about this version that I like. It's less convoluted. It feels more like focused. They're not trying to just cram everything together, and it does feel like a noteworthy sequel to Episode 8, but it's still... There's things I love about it. Like, I actually like the idea of Rey Solana. Like, I like that she's a nobody, and the Palpatine thing was just dumb. Like, I thought it was dumb. And Luke is in this a lot more. Luke is in this way more. I don't know how I feel about Leia dying so early in the story without really doing much else. I feel like the Leia scenes in Episode 9 were a lot more powerful in Rise of Skywalker. But anyways, no. That's it. That's the script. What do you think? I think, again, people are over here saying it's better than Rise of Skywalker, and maybe it is. Maybe some of it is. But visualizing it in my head, and maybe it's just me, like, it doesn't feel as epic as it should have been. It still feels like a very small story. This whole, like, war, like, I'm sure it would have been a lot bigger with special effects and everything, but this whole war just seems like it's not a war in comparison to the previous two trilogies. So, I don't know, it just seems more like an epilogue, like unnecessary fan fiction, but that's pretty much what these movies are. It's unnecessary fan fiction. They're only necessary to make money. So, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. And, yeah, Colin Trevorrow script. I'll talk to y'all soon.